Hey everybody, welcome back for a little Dad's Know-How. Today we're back in the bathroom, and just like we did last time with the shower drain, we've got a sink here that's running kind of slow or draining slow. So we want to give that a fix today, and it's really simple, but it does take a little time and an understanding of how this all works, so I'm going to go through it with you. But what we need is really just a simple pair of small channel locks and a good light source. I also always like to throw a towel down when I'm going to be crawling underneath the cabinet, just to give myself a little bit of comfort. That little edge on that can be pretty hard. So here's what we're going to do today. So if you're familiar with these sinks, you know this little lever, when you go up and down, it makes your stopper go in and out. Well, what happens is that little lever that moves up and down gets hair and gunk caught around it, and then eventually it builds up and it creates a problem for drainage. So what we're going to be able to do today is we're going to disconnect the little lever that makes that work. We're going to remove this, we're going to clean off all the gunk, and we're going to put it back in and show you how that works. Okay, so we're underneath the sink now, and pardon me for being a little close to our work here, but it's a small cabinet. And what we see here is this is the lever. That's how it moves up and down. And then it moves this lever moves the stopper up and down when it goes up and down. And that's the source of the problem right here. So what we need to do is we need to get our channel locks on here. And remember, this nut is facing away from you. So you gotta turn it backwards, right? So we gotta turn it that way, right? And then doesn't take much to just loosen it. And here's what I've done is I haven't used this sink for a couple of days so that it dries out nice, and I'm not going to be dealing with a lot of wet and nasty gunk when I do this. So here's what's going to happen is this little lever comes out. That little ball is kind of the hinge mechanism. And so now we're going to go up top and remove the stopper. Okay, so with the lever removed, now the stopper will just come right out. All right, so if you're squeamish, you may want to look away. This is not gonna be pretty, but look at that. Oh, that's nice, right? That's why it won't drain. All right, so with the stopper removed, you can see, or actually, I guess you can't really see on video, but down inside the drain here is still a lot of just crud and buildup from all of the slow draining from the last couple of months. So what we're going to need to do is clean that out. But here's something we're going to need to do before we do that, because we need to get something really dull and long to reach down in there and scrape the sides of the drain and clean it free from that debris. Because just cleaning off the stopper will help for a little while, but it'll be back if you don't get this drain cleaned. It'll be back really quickly. So we're going to get this drain relatively clean. In order to do that, we need to break a lot of this material free and rinse it on through. And to do that, we're going to have to get back underneath the sink and put that little ball and nut back in position so that that water that we run through here doesn't come out underneath our sink and actually follows the drain as it should. So we're going to do that now. So we're back underneath the sink, and you can see the little lever and the ball. Just put it right back in there where it goes, because you see that actually is a hole in your drain, right? And so that water, if you go to rinse that drain out, clear it free of all that debris, we're going to want that water to continue go all the way down the drain and not out this little hole here. So we're going to close this back up so we can finish the clean out process. All right, so now we're back up top, and so now we're going to try and clean this sink out. And so here's what I want to do. I'm going to take a blunt screwdriver, so not a hard, this is just sort of an old dull tip Phillips, so I don't damage the pipe at all, but I can use it to dig down in here and get this crud out. I got my flashlight up here. And again, if you're squeamish, look away. We're going to pull what looks like a small animal out of here. Oh, look at that. That's nice, huh?
And you can't really see it, but I can see, you can't see it on the video, but I can see that lever where I put that back in position. And so it looks like from here to that lever is now nice and clean. So now I'm gonna turn that off so you don't get that strobing. And so now I'm gonna rinse it with some water. So we're about to get back underneath and put it back together. But before I get underneath the sink, I want to show you up top. All right, you notice that the stopper, I've gotten it clean, and I'd take the time to get it nice and clean, although some of that's just stains. You don't want any gunk or anything that would begin the clog process again quickly. So make sure you get it nice and clean and smooth so the material and water will pass by it easily. So when we're going to put this back together, it's important that you see this little hole here. That's the insert where that lever inserts there and makes the unit go up and down. And so that needs to be towards the back. So the offset in the stopper needs to be towards the back of the sink. So we're going to insert that like so. Now it's not going to go in there because we still don't have our lever removed and reinserted, but as soon as we pull that out, that's going to drop back down in place and we'll be able to reinsert that lever in position. So we're back under the sink. We're going to take this back off, this nut back off, because now we're ready to put it back together. Now we're going to remove this, and we're going to wait, and that little stopper is going to fall down. We're going to reinsert it, and when we reinsert it, we need to make sure it goes into that little hole that we saw. So it might take you, there it goes. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to put this back on, just finger tight. Just for a second, and then go make sure it's moving the stopper up and down. We're back up top, and it's making the stopper go up and down, but yep, if you want to know that it's not just lifting it up and not pulling it back down, give it a tug, and that way you know it's inserted, that the lever actually is inserted into the bottom of the stopper. If you can't pull it, if you can pull it up, you didn't get it inserted. But it looks like it pulls it down nice and snug. There it goes. And it also lifts it up. So we're good. So let's go back and tighten it up. So we're ready to tighten this up. So we're gonna give it a couple of good turns with the finger. And then we're just going to get the channel locks on it, give it just a little bit of a quarter of a turn, snug it up. It does not need to be super tight, okay? Make sure it still moves like it should, and we're good.
And that's how a drain should work. Anytime you want to do plumbing, you always want to check for leaks. So I've gotten back down underneath the sink and looked after I've drained the sink a couple of times, and we don't have any leaks and drips. Now, this is an alternative to what some people might try and fix with like a liquid plumber or something like that. That might clear the drain a little bit, might clear some of the material and debris, but you can see, I mean, this only took me a few minutes to get it completely clear, and now I've got the confidence that I know there's no more material in there. There's nothing going to cause a drain in a problem in the near future. So I think it's always good to just take the time, take it apart, and do it right. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it helps. Thanks for tuning in.